Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal are looking at another 100 million signing in Rodrygo this summer. The last time Arsenal spent such an amount of money, it was on Declan Rice. We signed him in the summer of 2023 for 116 million euros. That is about 100 million pounds. Arsenal are convinced that Rodrygo wants to join the club and they are willing to wait and determine the situation as Madrid are willing to sell. The Athletic this morning have actually put out an article and they're saying that Arsenal were convinced they could offer Rodrygo a sporting project where he could be at ease playing on the left wing with a lot of freedom. The Gunners are now prepared to wait to determine Rodrygo's situation, but are mindful they won't be waiting for, they won't be waiting forever. It won't be indefinitely. Arsenal want a timeline, and they have a timeline for this deal. But at the moment, Arsenal 100% convinced that Rodrygo is the next best player they can get on the market for a huge fee. Now, I have a question for you in the comment box below. Do you think Rodrygo is worth 100 million euros? Or this is Real Madrid trying to milk the situation? We know that the player is unhappy. We know that Madrid are willing to sell players. They are always willing to sell. If a player is unhappy, if the manager doesn't have the player in his plans, then 100% Madrid will sell, right? But asking for 100 million euros, is this Madrid trying to show us that there is value in Rodrygo? Even if he doesn't want to stay, even if he wants to go, we still have a lot of value in our player? Or is this Madrid trying to set a higher price so that they can get some good money out of the sale? Let me know, is he worth 100 million euros? Should Arsenal pay 100 million euros? And if you think that he's not worth 100 million euros and maybe it's too much, how much should Arsenal pay for Rodrygo? And what is the price that Arsenal walk away? If say Arsenal want to pay 80 million euros and Madrid say no, is that the break point? Should we walk away? Talk to me in the comment box below. But let's start off with the price, right? Let's start off with Madrid and the price. Madrid are such a very good club at selling and doing business. We know that these days they are even taking players for free, and Arsenal are one of those clubs that are really really afraid that a player like William Saliba could choose to go to Real Madrid for free. I mean, if you don't believe me, Trent Alexander-Arnold, a Liverpool legend, maybe has gone to Real Madrid for free, and many Liverpool fans are freaking out and they're saying he's not a Liverpool legend anymore. If you can do that and leave the club without us getting a single penny. Well, technically they didn't lose him for free. They got about 10 million in order for him to play in the Club World Cup. But a talent and a player of the ability of Trent, that is 100 million plus. Like Liverpool would have been looking at 100 million plus, right? So Madrid are great negotiators, and they're such a very good team. They're such a very good side in terms of negotiating deals, okay? And maybe they're setting this 100 million euro price in order to show Arsenal we are not weak. We want you to be prepared to pay what is worth for Rodrygo. And as far as I understand, all the stories that have been coming out, Arsenal are 100% convinced that the player is going to move for about 70 million pounds. That is close to 90 million euros, right? And that shows me that Arsenal are willing to part with good money, to part with big money for the services of Rodrygo, but not 100 million euros, right? I don't think 100 million euros is reflective of the value of Rodrygo. Now, I want to make this very clear. These days, 100 million euros is such a small fee. To put that into perspective, Florian Wirtz has gone for 150, right? He's gone for 150 million euros. That is about 117 million pounds, right? So if Florian Wirtz has gone for 150 million euros, bear this in mind. Florian Wirtz has won the German Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen. He's also won the DFB Pokal with Bayer Leverkusen, and he's considered the most talented attacking midfielder right now. For me, I would take Musiala over Vats, honestly, but he's considered one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. Rodrygo, on the other end, has won the Champions League, has won the Spanish La Liga, has won almost everything you could think about winning in Spain. So if Vats is 150 million euros, I understand why this guy, Rodrygo, is costing 100 million euros in the mind of Real Madrid. But this is why I wouldn't pay 100 million euros for me for Rodrygo. And I'm not saying Arsenal are making a mistake. Arsenal, this is the deal. We're going to be talking about the positives of this deal. It is a marvelous deal. It's a very good deal. But this is why I think Arsenal shouldn't pay 100 million euros for Rodrygo. One, options, right? Options. I think when it comes to the left wing position, there's so many options on the market that if you wanted a good player for 70 million pounds or for 70 million euros, actually, you could get. Let's talk about a player like Semenyo, because Semenyo has had a wonderful season with Bournemouth. And Bournemouth are saying if you can give us 65 million plus add-ons that can reach 70 to 75 million euros, we will give you the player. Anton Semenyo is probably not at the level of Rodrygo. He's not at Rodrygo's level. There's no question about that. But Anton Semenyo is a wonderful player. Premier League proven. That's the first thing we've got to talk about. He's Premier League proven. His numbers are great. And his age profile is also great. Arsenal are not getting a very old player. We are getting a younger player that can be molded into one of the best. But also we're getting a player that has proven it in a very well-coached side at Bournemouth. And if you bring him in a very well-coached side at Arsenal, he might actually do the job. That is Anton Semenyo, 77 million euros. But let's say Arsenal don't want to pay 77 million euros for Anton Semenyo. Maybe they've got reservations. What about a player like Morgan Rogers at Aston Villa? Again, that one could cost 80 million pounds, right? And then think about a player like Kudus. I think Kudus, honestly, will be available. His release clause is 85 million. But if Arsenal made a bid, if anyone made a bid for Kudus, and that bid was 65 million, I think West Ham start conversations. And then you could end up paying 68 to 75 million pounds. Again, that is very good money. That is a very good price for such a player. And I've not even talked about players like Karo Mitoma. I've not talked about João Pedro. João Pedro is available for about 65 million pounds. Now, again, are all these players at the level of Rodrygo? No. But I'm trying to show you that 100 million is not worth, because you've got so many options that are cheaper. I don't know what Rafael would actually cost. I don't know, because Milan have not really come out and given us their stance on selling the player. But I'm thinking, if you got 80 million euros and you slapped it on the table for Milan, do they not listen? I think Milan listen. I really do think that Milan listen at 80 million euros. So that is the first thing I would consider. This is not a dry market. This is a market where you have so many left wingers available. And although Rodrygo is kind of a step higher, again, he's not one of those numbers that he's not one of those guys that have got numbers that are irresistible. He's a good player. I think he can explode in the Premier League, a bit of like Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. These players that just come into the Premier League and go to the next level. I think Rodrygo can do that. But his numbers at the moment, if you're selling a player, these are the things you're talking about. He's of a great age. Yeah, everybody say it with me. He's of a great age. And then, yeah, he's of a great age, right? And then the numbers, goals and assists. He's got a good reputation in front of goal. I like his calm. I like his ability to finish. I like his ability to remove bodies and just move bodies out of the way. And most importantly, I like his ability to score goals as a player, right? And create chances. But his numbers are not overwhelming, right? And I know Madrid would be saying if Bino Gittens, but if Bino Gittens is going to Chelsea for about 70 million, then you're going to pay 100 million for Rodrygo. But for me, I think that the numbers don't guarantee 100 million euros. Now, is Rodrygo the finished article? Because Madrid would be saying you have little work to do with Rodrygo. So if you signed a player like, let's say, Park Shaw from Feyenoord, there is a lot of work for you to do in order for you to improve him to the level you want. Or if you sign a player like Bakayoko, or if you sign a player like Semenyo, let's say, it is not the same as signing a finished product. Now, Rodrygo, in my opinion, is a finished product that is waiting to explode. And I think if Arsenal gave him the right platform and the right conditions, he would definitely explode into one of the very dangerous players in the world right now. But does that really guarantee 100 million euros? Probably not. Now, Arsenal is saying that they can put the player at ease and offer him freedom. Well, that means that he's unhappy at Real Madrid. That means that Madrid are not essentially giving this guy the kind of game time and the kind of role that he actually wants. And I don't blame anyone at Madrid. Vinicius Jr. has been a freak in the past few years. He's been challenging for the Ballon d'Or and apparently robbed. So if you have Vinicius playing on the left-hand side and you have Mbappe trying to drift on the left-hand side as well, you've got to sell Rodrygo or you've got to keep him unhappy on the right-hand side. Now, I remember Jude Bellingham saying Rodrygo is underrated, criminally underrated as one of the Real Madrid players. I agree. I think Madrid is packed with talent. Trent, Valverde, Rodrygo, Vinicius, Mbappe, Bellingham, to mention but a few. But I really think that with ball to fit, right? The things that Rodrygo does at times, they are scary. They are borderline scary. They are good things, right? So Bellingham was saying basically that he doesn't want to play on the right. He wants to play on the left, but he has been asked to play on the right to sacrifice for the team, and he doesn't really mind. He does it. Now, that is down to two things, right? Mentality and mindset, which is why I don't want signings like Sancho, signings like Garnacho. I don't want these guys because the mentality and mindset of these players is absolutely borderline rotten. I think I should do a video on Garnacho, by the way, because he's been linked with Arsenal, and I'm like, why? Why is Garnacho linked with Arsenal? But that should be a video that should be coming up, right? But with Rodrygo, he has sacrificed. He has not stormed out. He has not quarreled because his talent could be the level of Vinicius. But he has not quarreled. He has accepted to play on the right despite the fact that he wants to play on the left. That is the kind of mindset I reckon Mikel Arteta loves. Think about it. All of us know that Martinelli is cringe playing on the right hand side. When Saka is absent, Mikel Arteta forces Martinelli to play on the right, and it looks awkward, ugly. But he has never complained. He plays there. He plays there to the extent that he even delivers sometimes. He gives you a cross every now and then. He cuts inside every now and then and does some nice stuff, right? I think that mindset, if Rodrygo has it, get him to Arsenal right now. I was watching one episode where one of my favorite Arsenal fans said, if Arsenal are going to go and sign I was watching the kickoff, right? And he was saying that if Arsenal are going to go and sign Šeško, our biggest win this summer is going to be Rodrygo. Like if Rodrygo comes in, It doesn't matter whether we have Shesko or Gyökeres. Rodrygo himself is a ceiling raiser, is a level raiser at Arsenal. And I'm sorry, I agree. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I agree. And the reason as to why I agree with him is I remember Alexis Sanchez when he signed for Arsenal. Rodrygo could be that for us. And if Rodrygo is that for us, if we bring in Rodrygo and he gives us that Alex Sanchez effect, who cares about... You remember when we had Sanchez? We had Olivier Giroud. And we could excuse the mistakes of Giroud because we had Alex Sanchez finishing chances and working harder than anyone else. So, Rodrygo for 100 million is complicated, but I understand why Arsenal want to do it. I understand why everyone sees it as a level raiser and a ceiling raiser. If it needs us to bite the bullet and do it, he's not worth it at the moment. He could be worth it, right? We've seen so many players that have come in. Ben White, I think, is above his £50 million value that he came in at. I think Timber is above his value. I think Odegaard is above his 30 million value now. Rice is above his value as well. Saka from the academy, worth millions. Martinelli is like 7 to 10 times double the value that he actually came in at. I think it's time for Arsenal to bite the bullet. It's time for Arsenal to bite the bullet. Go and do it.